Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Burning Crowns. So happy to have you, everyone. We are playing Burning Wheel, a game by Luke Crane. It's this little ditty by him. Which, if this is your first time watching the show, you're in for a treat. I think. This game's pretty awesome, and we have a huge backlog of episodes to watch. It's not required that you watch them all. Start with episode. I've been saying everyone should watch season 2, episode 14 as like the jump-in one.
I want to say that that's really flattering to me, just because that is like such a big moment for Demetrius. So every time you say that, I'm just like, oh,
yeah, it's a good one. Not to say that we don't have other like really like gem of episodes. That was just a particularly apt one, I think. So anyways, what we like to do here at the start is, since this game is a belief-driven game, we like to talk about us and our beliefs. So we're going to hear from our cast, how we're doing in our lives, and then talk about our characters and what their beliefs are set for this week, and then we'll get into play. Okay, so as a game master, I don't have beliefs, so I'm just going to kick it over, and we're going to go in clockwise fashion. So Daniel/Niren, who's playing Mason, what's up, dude? It's been a while.
It has. And yeah, what's up indeed? So many things up in the air. I need juggler skills to manage all this stuff before it crashes onto the floor. But yeah, good stuff. New computer. So I'm putting myself in a position where I'm capable of streaming. So that hopefully is the thing that'll happen soon.
Were you putting that off until you were done you defended your thesis? Or your master's?
And until I got a machine that I thought could handle it. I've not been owning a desktop for like about half a decade, and I've had enough of laptops for now. So having a desktop in here again I feel blessed.
Yes.
I feel downright blessed to be back here. Anyway, enough about that. Character, Mason. Yes, Mason. Idealistic sorceress. Not really sure what they want out of anything, except that they're fighting fate. For the right to decide who decides what happens in their life. And the beliefs we're looking at for this character today is, for a worthy ruler to sit on the dragon scale throne, I must discover the secrets of the vanishing. I will find out why Yavanan covered up the death of the last of Coral's dragons. And my second belief is, I've moved the third belief up to the second slot because I've made a new third belief. By secret, my craft, by virtue, my path. There is yet enough fire in the hearts of men to steer a course over dark seas. I must rally those who would defy the tyrannous stars. And my new third belief is, as the last member of the Nethesian star, I stand responsible where they no longer can.
That's good. Cool. Let's see if I know I cannot copy and paste them into chat. So I'm just going to have to put them into a beliefs text box over here. Okay. So we can do this. Let's bring us to the game. So what I'm going to do is, in a little bit, I'll bring over our beliefs so we can see them in play when they came out. But those are really good beliefs. Thank you, Mason. Let's keep going around. Sulius. Aurelius.
yes. I'm good. Not much has changed for me. Beliefs. I got to add an extra belief after getting the zealot trait, and I came up with a really long one, so I'm sorry for everybody out there. First belief is, only the strong wall shelters humanity from the storm. Long-term solutions take time to bring about. While our financial plan begins to gain steam, I must put my skills to work healing the sick. One must do all they can with their own hands before beseeching the Lord for help. Belief 2, the order of the strong wall must be bolstered. I shall go with Zidomir to make use of the second and third sons that lay idle about in the city, as well as the I suck at pronouncing this word, itinerant knights.
Itinerant.
Yeah. Searching for a cause. It is time for these men to serve a higher power. Belief 3, it seems to me that Mason is hiding something when it comes to the storm looming on the horizon. Either she has information she is not telling me, or a hidden agenda at play. I must learn what it is before it becomes dangerous. And last but not least, at the dawn of time, Abadar laid forth the holy codex of laws and traditions that would govern the heavenly kingdoms for all eternity. We must follow the great reformers who glimpse the edges of the lawmakers' holy order to perfect our wanting civilization. The inspiration Abadar has given to myself and His Holiness Swan must not be lost to time. I shall find a teacher to show me to capture men's minds with the written word the way I can with the spoken.
Oh, okay. I like that one. That's good. That's a good plan. Let's see how that's gonna work out, though. Okay. I'm just copying over all your beliefs because the Google Doc doesn't have different ones.
Yeah, I couldn't edit the Google Doc again for some reason. It like keeps reverting.
That document doesn't like you, dude.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I might just make a new one and then copy it over. Okay, so then it seems clear. Okay, I particularly like your belief about Mason. That's gonna be good today.
Yeah, I talked to Daniel a little bit about it because I think it's time to bring that to the forefront because I like the idea that Mason kind of feels like she stole something, and I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, sorry, and we'll get to our last but certainly not least AP as soon as I'm done just copying over the last one. This is the longest belief, and you got this because of what exactly for people who playing at home?
Yes. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, we did the trait vote, which changes up our characters a little bit. And I gained a trait called Zealot, which gives me a specific fourth belief related to creating new doctrine. And so it's basically, I decided to take that and use it to sort of spur the change that Swan wants to make. And also I decided it's time to start writing some scripture, start writing the Bible.
You know, Eric, I just want to help you fill some dead space here by talking about one of my favorite subjects. Obviously, number one is me, but number two is tabletop RPG show design. And I learned an interesting fact last week that I've been repeating everywhere, that the majority of people who watch tabletop RPG shows only watch one show on any particular channel and often don't even know that there are other shows on that channel. I understand, Eric Vulgaris, that you recently started a new Mouse Guard campaign called Maple Fallen Sakura Blossom Anime Go.
That is the direct Japanese translation. No,
what can you
Under
tell
the
me
Fallen
about
Maple.
What can you tell me about this fine new anime?
Yeah. So Thursday nights with players Blue Jay, Distracted Elf, and Colin, aka Sunder. We're playing Mouse Guard Samurai. So we're playing the little nice little Mouse Guard-y style stuff. The rules and everything are the same. It's just got a really nice, cool coat of paint of samurai and Eastern influence rather than the Western traditional David Peterson-esque fantasy. So it's cool. We had our first episode. One of our mentors is passing away, and they wanted to reconcile stuff with their brother, an estranged brother, and so they had to go find them and bring them back before it's too late. So that was
Cool.
that's issue 1 of the comic.
Yeah, what I love
Thank you,
about,
AB.
What I love about Mouse Guard is like I feel like every game I've played, it starts very much where everyone's like really embracing that like very cutesy veneer, and then somewhere in the middle of the game, everything starts getting way more serious and intense and like deep, and you're just like, whoa, that just happened.
That's a metaphor for the comics in general. Looking at them, you're like, "Aw," and reading them, you're like,
"Whoa!" Yeah, exactly. In no way is this stuff like, it's very adult. Like and I don't say that in terms of like rated R, just in terms of the themes of like, yeah, you don't get everything that you want. Life's really hard. Life's really, really, really hard. Just because you're standing up for what you want doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. So it's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we talk a little bit about Swan?
Yeah. AP.
I know.
Count Ronald Swan.
Count Ronald Swan was kept awake by the yowling of a cat all night, so he's a little slow right now. Count Ronald Swan, I don't know. Are we doing third person now? All right. I don't know. I like when you call upon me, I'm vaguely confused. All right.
Who are you? What do you do? If people never met you before, this is the first time watching.
No,
what do you
everybody's met me. Listen,
Okay.
Eric, you need to recognize as a guest here. I've been here for like, what, 20 episodes now?
Yeah, you're still a guest.
You know what the minuscule probability is that this is going to be the first episode that someone watches?
I know the probability of that will decrease over time as more episodes roll out.
Right. No, wait, no, it won't.
Yeah.
If someone is out there in chat right now and this is your first time watching, go ahead.
Literal first time watching, and you've never heard me talk about myself before. Don't worry, because you will in the past and in the future episodes hear more about me. For now, let me tell you about my good friend, Count Ronald Swan.
Yeah.
Trying to get my Swan voice on. Still a little distracted.
Yeah, see, this is someone, Library Ben in chat. This is my first time watching. Vindicated.
Wow. All right. Okay. I was officially wrecked. All right, Library Ben. Very well. I'm Arthur Perkins, AP Gaming Reel. I am also a tabletop RPG streamer. I run several D&D 5e games, and I'm about to be rolling out several more, including a very unusual new show concept where I have myself, a single player, and an artist, and we sit down and do scenes in a fantasy game while the artist speed sketches us.
Let's be invited to that.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it, buddy. We'll talk about it. I got to do the first episode of it and see if it will even work out. And then I'll be looking into ham-fisted volunteering or whatever you call that. You're just like, hey, pay attention, Arthur! I'm over here. What are we? The first game's going to be Burning Wheel, playing as Spirit Binder, apparently.
Ooh,
EQ was just like, I want to be a Spirit Binder. And I was like, I don't know what that entails. Fine.
It's cool. It's really, really cool mechanics. I really like them.
I mean, I'm assuming it's some Tom Bombadil shit, but
it's the Burning Wheel druid, essentially.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's Gandalf. It's literally Gandalf. It's just
get ready for your player to speak to concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah, get ready to speak to the what is it, Aristotelian ideal or Platonic ideal of things. All right. Anyways,
fire.
Yeah. Yeah, you're speaking to the embodiment of fire. Okay, so those are our beliefs, and now we are actually ready to begin. So we are.
I don't know that I actually introduced any of my beliefs, Eric.
Did you not this whole time? Oh, I mean, your beliefs are just.
We went into the arguing
about me the whole time.
This would literally be the first time someone watched.
Oh, okay.
It turns out the chance was infinitesimal, but now it's 1 because it did actually happen.
So tell us now.
The culmination of events of my life have led to this moment. The chosen one of Abadar receives a holy charter to start a new empire. I must receive this before my court sabotages the effort. It is time to begin the machine of industry that will guide our new country. I will create a business effort that will fund the area consisting of a logistics company to move goods and their guardians. The colonization will not fail for lack of funding or supply. I am the chosen one of Abadar, and it's time my countrymen see it so. The Pro-Rogarvian House's meeting is the perfect time to remind my peers of their obligations to the church. I am responsible to the people.
Perfect. There you
Before your court sabotages your effort. I'm hearing an invitation, AP. I don't know what you intended, but...
Okay.
Does that mean I have to challenge that belief by not sabotaging you?
I don't know. Like, how do we challenge this best?
So we're
now. Yeah. It's up to you to decide the course of your own life.
So we have a few strange guests in this episode that we're going to be meeting this time around.
Uh-oh.
Because after long, perilous journeys, some people's requests for people, particularly the Queen, and particularly Count Ronald Swan, some individuals have arrived. So, but I will say that unless somebody wanted to do something real quick right now, and like kind of recap or not recap, excuse me, if they wanted to get something in before I kind of just thrust you into those, let me know.
Oh, fuck it. Let's start big. We can peter out into the small stuff later.
Perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to start. I've been waiting for this, so I really want to start with Caron Swan.
I thought you were going to go with the Devil Summoner. All right, here we go.
Nah, Lady Iron Betty is one of my favorite. So, okay. So, if you guys all recall, maybe, or if you're new, months back in fictional time and in real time, the Count Ron Swan, has requested a mercenary company, particularly a set of riflemen, which is a really rare thing to even have.
They're like mounted riflemen too.
Yes.
They're like horse riding dismounted dragoons or something.
They're essentially proto dragoons. Yeah, that would be probably the best way of describing them. So in terms of like conflict and stuff, they are just like what?
And you say invite, but I remember it being heavily bribe.
Sure. So long story short, he invited them with chests and chests of treasure and wealth, to make an appearance and basically try to work on a contract with them. So, I think the first thing we see here is that there's actually an issue with the gates and the issue of the company actually being able to make it into Brevoy. And you are summoned because obviously the lady and stuff, they are
has
wealthy
an invitation
and
from me.
Yeah, they had exactly like they're on business up for you. However, the Sertovan guards of the city, I guess not Sertovan, it's just the watch, right? Are being like, yeah, you can't bring you can't bring explosives and stuff in the city, right? Like you can't, whatever your guns and stuff like that. And obviously they're not going to depart with their guns. And so you just hear there's an altercation, and you kind of surmise this is probably it, right? As you make your way to the main gate, the north gate. All right.
You might notice everything here is made of wood. We would prefer the black powder stay outside.
Exactly.
Also, just like the whole like, hey, we prefer you not march your army into our city. Thank you.
I mean, it's a little late. I already have like, what is it, 4,000 men sitting inside the city?
No, they're not inside the city.
Okay.
They're outside.
They're camped outside.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will go to my new possible mercenaries then. I will go to the gates to solve this. And I think I'm still wearing my like mostly military uniform that I've taken up wearing of late. And by that I mean it is of course freshly made, but it looks just like all the other ones. Sure. I don't wear the same clothes twice.
No,
that's how super rich I am.
Are you alone, AP?
I think I would probably bring you, although now that we've had a trait vote, I feel like maybe Swan is eyeing up the hip flask that you have as we move forward, and that's like the first thing we see is Swan giving a worrying glance.
Yeah, I look different post trade vote. just a tiny bit.
Tell me more.
I mean, I'm dressed in basically the same way, right? We have an agreement about like dressing in your colors. I'm still looking rather stylish, but like I've never really bothered combing my hair, and now for some reason that stands out. That stands out more. It looks more messy. There's a little bit of red twinge to my cheeks, just a tiny bit. There is definitely a hip flask, and there's a rat crawling on my person.
Yes. Well, do you make that known, or does the rat kind of like ratatouille under your cap or something?
Like it crawls around my person like you would have an owl on your shoulder.
Okay.
I have snake meat moving around my person.
Yeah.
Is this
I love snake meat.
New wizard familiar, or is it just you're disgusting now, Mason?
I'm sorry. What?
Is this
Good morning to you?
Sorceress familiar?
This is a friend.
It's nearly mid-afternoon, Mason.
This is a friend.
Are you still drunk?
I'm not drunk.
You're drunk. Yeah.
Can you understand that beast?
Yes, of course.
Interesting.
Why can't you?
Well, for one thing, I don't want to summon devils at any point in my life, so...
Well, we all have our different ways of enriching our life experiences. Such as buying up a company of mercenaries from Pitax.
Yeah,
which I am given.
I turn towards the gate, hoping this is the end of this conversation because it's gotten weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see that there is a cadre of officials. Obviously, not the whole army is standing there in front of the gates, right? So it's you see. I'm failing at the name of the word. What do you call the thing that people have to hold up? A pagoda? Is it pagoda? Is it no? That's a gazebo. Pagolin.
There's a thing called a palanquin. That's like
palanquin. Palanquin. Yeah, palanquin. Palanquin is what I. Thank you. See, I was there. I was there, and accurate but not precise. So yeah. So you see a lady with a dazzling red cap, like from a window of a palanquin with a bunch of soldiers still like holding it. Even though like they're like kind of like strained holding it, like about 6 people, all wearing heavy robes, but you can see some like bandages around them underneath their traveling cloaks and stuff. They're holding her up, and then upon seeing the count and like walk through the gates outside, she puts her hand out and snaps it, and they let down the palanquin, and the door opens, and coming out is one of a very, very, very remarkable lady. She is wearing. Actually, the first thing that catches your eye is her shoulder, or is her what's on her waist, and and I mentioned this earlier. It is the most beautiful sword you've ever seen. It is a rapier of some kind, but it is just sparkling, dazzling. It would put your sword AP to shame.
Whoa. My sword is like holy
I know.
Abadar blessed.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, well, your sword is functional. What Eric is describing sounds like a ceremonial weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, what it sounds like. So that is the first thing that catches your eye. It is bedazzlingly silver, with bespeckled with opalescent like rainbow, like kind of like gems, like opal, like the gradients of opals around. It seems almost it is absolutely like supernatural to you.
I immediately turn to Mason.
in its
I'm
beauty.
like, is this magic?
I walk up to the person, support myself on my staff, lean in, and like get yay close to the scabbard of the sword. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you guys are still like 30 feet away. Like she's like getting out of her limousine. Right. And she gets up, and you see her stature, right? And then the next thing you see is just how she carries herself. She carries herself with, I guess like almost an arrogance to the ground around her, right? Like it serves her. The way she walks, and she, without really like breaking eye contact with you two, comes with a wry little like corner anime smile to her face, right, like that thing to her.
So much anime today.
Yeah.
So when and then
the rest she's wearing.
AP, to acknowledge what AP asked, I will take a second to pierce the veil and behold her sword and see if it's magic.
Sure.
And behold her person and see like
sure. So
the
is second
of the spirit verse.
That doesn't require a roll, right? That's just your second sight.
Yeah.
Sure. And what type of information can you glean from that? It's probably
It depends entirely on if there's something at stake, right? If there's something at stake, we roll. But if you want to roll, then it's the more powerful the effect, the easier to see.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to see. It is almost elemental in its simplicity of magic. It is almost made entirely out of one substance, but without well, obviously it's made out of metals and silver and stuff like that. But I'm saying what the composition of the magical properties of this is one. It seems to be like one solid thing. Something almost like a something that would be abstract made real. Yeah. Without like any analysis other than, you know what I mean? It's just like it's glowing like elemental something, right?
Yeah, the way we see this is like there's some kind of like hyper specialized special effects budget going into showing us something really incomprehensibly complex. Yeah. And Mason looking at it like it's Tuesday, just being like, oh.
Did you just John Harper us? Imagine something really cool.
Yeah, just do that. Do that.
It's a little, what I'm describing is like it's almost like an ideal made. It's like spirit binding. Like it's like an ideal made form, is what this is rendered to you. So it's almost piercingly bright. That's what I'm telling you when it's, rather than being like immuted, like imagine you are wearing night vision goggles and this thing burns like the sun, right?
Can I discern something from beholding it, right? Like,
yeah.
It aside from what you're describing, which is like the property of it contextually, like what is it actually? Like this thing I'm beholding. What is it comprised of, and what does it do? Is that a thing I can see?
It's attraction.
To
you. It is command.
Wonderful. I want it.
It is power.
Cool.
To you.
It's mine now. I just need to inform her.
So while the wizard stares blankly at our distinguished guest,
your jaw is probably on the floor, right?
Can I take that time to make the proper greeting for someone of her stature? And
please do.
So I
need someone to announce me, all those titles.
Yeah, well, so I the first thing I do is I sort of like step forward, and I think we just sort of like didn't really notice Aurelius. Like he was taking there aren't a lot of times where like he can go unnoticed anymore. So any chance he gets, he takes it. And he steps forward in his simple clothes with his chain glinting, and bows deeply, and says, Lady Arenvetti, welcome to our city. May I present his radiance is what I chose. Okay,
yes.
His radiance, chosen of Abadar. He who will defend the wall against the end of the world, patron of the arts and industry, commander of the Greenbelt Irregular Militia, that's it.
And then at the end, she, without skipping a beat, she says, and hopefully the one who can let me in this city.
But of course.
As soon as you say that, I'm like staring daggers at the back of your head.
Yeah.
Lady Iravetti, so nice of you to come.
Yeah.
I understand.
I traveled a long way.
That the guards here are rather concerned with the nature of the esoteric weaponry your troops bear.
Esoteric for now, but this will be all the rage soon enough.
I don't disagree at all. In fact, I would love to talk to you about the manufacture, sale, and training of firearms. However, as of yet, this country is rather superstitious about such things, and as you can see, the city is mostly made of wood.
She nods and says, surely, though, you would not rob a noble lady. Surely these are the guns are trade secrets, so it's not comfortable is what she's trying to get at. But obviously she can speak far more eloquently than I can, right? So she mentions, yes, but even my own esoteric armaments have modifications of them that I do not feel comfortable having them in the hands of anyone but my own men.
Obviously, your crafts of engineering should not be handled by these buffoons manning the gates. Clearly, you should be let through.
Thank you, Mason, so much. I'm going to turn to encompass the guards and Lady Iravetti together and say, all of the mercenary companies that are gathered from the various lords have been camped out outside the city to prevent any unpleasant happenings that can come when many armed people are in enclosed spaces. Perhaps you can leave the majority of your mercenary forces outside the city, and simply yourself and your royal honor guard can accompany me to the fourth wall. An acceptable
she looks at you saying,
compromise.
She's like, the fourth wall?
It's
she doesn't say that, but yeah.
It's a new tavern. It's very modern concept. I assume that you would like to see this. It's the bleeding edge of entertainment.
Rest your feet from the road. Have a fresh drink.
You're just, out of character. I'm just looking at helping. Just like looking at Mason, like, no, stop, stop.
No, she says that. Well said. We have been traveling for quite some time to get here. She isn't. you can get the impression Mason to you. Maybe I'll let this go to whether or not this is true for Count Ronald picking it up. You said she's interested in you more than Count Ronald Swan right now.
She gets the vibe from me that I'm interested in. Yeah. She gets from me. I'm interested in her weaponry too.
Yeah. I think I think. You can't hide the fact that you've been staring at her sword, right?
That's actually a question for you. So I got my ability to perceive spirits by ripping it out of the anus of the gods. And in doing so, I'm wondering, like, is it obvious when I do it? What does it look like? Do you have any input on that, or am I the author of what it looks like when I do it?
Yeah, I definitely imagine there's something to it other than just looking at it. Maybe it's not. I don't imagine. Maybe. Okay, I can see there's two ways of going about this two ways. One, it is just looking at it, or like you have to do some sort of like focus, kind of like Xavier, Professor X kind of thing, or another one could be like you have like a scrying mirror kind of thing, or like a magnifying, like you have to hold a magnifying glass upside down kind of thing, or like if you want to do something more like occulty, or if you do something a little bit more magical.
Earlier you mentioned the anime smirk she gave off, so just to keep in line with the theme, the effect that happens when I perceive the spirits is that the color of my eyes change to like a luminescent white. It just becomes these piercing white circles with a black dot in the center.
Cool. So it is known to her that you are doing that. And then, so I think she just says, I would love to have that drink. And then perhaps I could tell your friend here all about this sword that she seems so enthralled about.
Oh, that is the price of admission, man.
I look to Aurelius to intercede with Mason's heavy-handed tactics. Like, I don't really know how to term this. Like, Mason is getting far more involved in this than I want Mason to be.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're not getting. Yeah, it's kind of like a. It's not.
It's almost like I read your first belief. But
yeah.
So I'm telling her the price of admission is that you tell me all about that sword, of course.
So when Swan gives me that look, I will put my hand on Mason's shoulder, and I will say, Mason, perhaps we should talk about these finer points of negotiation a little later down the road. It seems that the good lady and His Holiness Count Swan need a moment to speak together.
Why, I agree, my good prophet. Of course.
Perhaps we should investigate their troops. I'm sure you need to talk with their quartermaster. Do your generaling thing. I try to lead her, do the arm around shoulder, lead away thing.
I let him lead me. I get what he's doing. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's walk.
So are the city guards okay with Lady Iravetti and a small contingent coming into the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as basically though, without a roll or anything like now, they're okay with it. You are just your cash, your butts on the line in a way.
Okay. I'm responsible for them. I understand that.
Responsible for the people.
They're your guests.
Yeah. Yep. I will definitely lead her to the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And along the way, explain who Mason is, because I don't think there was ever an introduction.
Nope.
No, but obviously you're some sort of arcane order, right?
There is nothing obvious about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, the rat crawling around is weird.
The fact that I belong to an order is not obvious.
Sorry.
Even though I don't think.
Well, you're not a hedge witch. You're not like a hermit, so you have some sort of formal training. Is what I'm getting at. I didn't mean to say that you belong to an order. Like she knows your order. She just knows you have academic training.
Yeah, that might be the case that she knows that. I don't know what her I can't speak to what she knows about sorcery.
Yeah. So anyways, I think you guys are all walking to the fourth wall, right?
As I push open the door of the fourth wall, there's it's open now, I think. And there's obvious noblemen in there, arm wrestling strongmen and winning.
When you walk in, does everybody turn around and say, "Hey!"
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's your bar, and you have a bard who immediately starts plays the lute, where everybody knows her name.
There's very clearly a there's a Aragorn style. Not Aragorn. No, is it Aragorn from
the
Lord
double
of the
door?
Rings?
The double door thing?
No. There's a
Oh.
guy in the back who's
Oh,
Yeah,
the Strider.
Strider.
The Strider.
There's a Strider in the back who's handing out look across the city quests. He's like, "There's a dark secret in the city," and there's actors strategically placed through the city to help them play out this game.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, these are the services the fourth wall gives out, and I go to the second floor special table that I have set out specifically for these kind of occasions.
The VIP.
The VIP room.
The roped off.
It's the
private
one that has
booth.
little secret trapdoors where you can hide boxes of money that
Exactly.
can just appear.
So,
I mean,
okay.
this is my primary residence inside the city right now. So yes.
Yeah.
'Cause you got
So
keep that
you are... So she looks around and says, Well, I don't think she says anything, but you can tell that she's not necessarily... It's not that she's not impressed. It's just that this doesn't exactly... this isn't what she wants.
This doesn't
Right.
look like a palace.
No. It's not even that just you want something extravagant. It's just that this seems very, the veneer of it, cheeky. Yeah, right. It says, I see, so, no, she says, she says, the pinnacle of Brevish culture. She's walking around. To
Starting
the,
strong.
I have
the,
often found that the best way to garner support and interest is to play to the support and interests of the nobility. I call it the Trumpian method. It's been working very well all my life.
You should tell me about that method some other time.
Some other time. Perhaps if we campaign on the road together, then there will be much time to speak. It's not often I meet foreign nobility like yourself, so I would be curious to exchange ideologies. I'm something of a revolutionary.
She definitely smiles at that and says, like she obviously wants to be like, I like you in a way when you say that, but instead she just does that silent
Well,
So-
allow me to get down to business rather quickly then, because all of our times are extremely valuable except for Mason's. I literally think that out loud. Or
Oh,
maybe
that's
the
her
rats. Mason, yes, that's my general. She also has some learned status as a wandering academic. I'm like code wording for sorcerer without actually saying sorcerer.
Yeah. And I think she understands when you're laying down that double speak, right? Yes. Not a very what's the word you want? Inconspicuous one, your general.
Subtlety is lost on her, indeed.
It's okay.
Sometimes I think she would sooner fight the gods with a cudgel than talk to them. We're literally talking about you while you're right there.
Well, we
Yep.
no, what I think she looks at me, he's like, and she's like, well, I think we have a lot in common then. And she definitely wants to if she want and so I think when the first round of drinks comes or whatever, she's like, to punching gods.
I definitely toast to that.
I do not toast to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To punching the gods right in their
Oh, I'm
stupid,
sorry.
smug faces.
Yeah. Oh, did I I did not mean to offend your religious sensibilities. I'm very sorry, is what she
Oh,
says.
no,
to both.
Aure-
to the other
Aurelius.
two.
Aurelius,
is,
baby. No, that's not what I meant.
Aurelius is the prophet of Abadar, and I am his holy chosen one.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what she says. Oh.
I wear many hats in this life.
So
true.
do they actually make the toast?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
they do.
but that was a joke. Like she did
No,
it
no,
in
yeah,
a
yeah,
well,
yeah, no, I get
in a
you.
half joke. It was a half joke, actually. But she definitely.
I just wanted to be clear. If like
you never mentioned anything. You never mentioned anything about being a chosen one to her, right? You never mentioned anything about being a chosen one, or anything to that, and being like, oh, so you're one of those, is what she says, trailing off. She's implying that she thinks you're a megalomaniac and a self-proclaimed prophet without knowing the details and the connotations of everything, right? Just thinks that you're really full of yourself, right?
That's okay. Everyone thinks that.
I nod to her. You're right. Yeah, you get it. But it's also true, by the way.
So tell me, how so? How does one become a chosen one?
Well, one is
I clap at Aurelius on the shoulder. I'm like, just this buddy right here. This guy. This fucking guy. All you need is this guy.
Yeah, so I think Aurelius has like purposely just been like keeping quiet. And when that happens, he no longer can keep quiet.
All right, so let it all out.
and he will say with sort of an icy calm, he will say, one does not become chosen. One is not gifted the title of chosen. One is hardly even picked. It is a yoke, a burden to carry, one that is thrust upon us.
So I think Swan coughs at that point.
I noiselessly salute you with like the glass of whatever I've been poured. I'm like, fuck yeah, and then drink.
Yeah.
Swan coughs into the handkerchief that he's been specially using and having cleaned every day because it has gold dust on it now.
So,
and he's just like, it's not so bad as that, Larry Iravetti. Our beliefs in this matter differ greatly.
She's like, so I think she wants to talk to a little more about to Sulius. Like, so this was given to you, or did you find this? Like, she's not exactly sure how you came about being a prophet and stuff like that. Like, how did you find this gift? Is kind of what she's getting to, right? Because you're making it sound like a chosen one is this mantle you had to work really hard for, and it's like, well, how are you the one to judge them? How are they judged? What is?
I grin at her.
It seems more like a lottery. It seems this is more like an arbitrary lottery. It seems more like a god of luck has smiled on you than anything. What? Or unless I'm misreading. How else would you become a chosen one? Did you demand it? Did you put the god on their knees and demand them? They make you a chosen one?
Is she asking me or Swan?
You, because you're obviously the tonsured one. So yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Help me understand this. This is.
Aurelius will look her in the eye and he will say, it's clear that you do not understand. First, foremost, and exclusively comes first faith.
I'm afraid the only thing I have faith in is myself these days. And my troops.
I'm so sorry.
Well,
it's okay.
She
says it's okay. It's gotten me far enough.
And could you not also say that is a god of luck smiling down upon you? We all make do with the gifts that are given to us.
When you say that, the camera like doesn't go to her face. Like maybe this was like, overshot, face, like back and forth conversation. This time it goes back and you see you guys talking across the table and you see your hand when you say that is like resting on the hilt of that sword. Not to draw it or anything like that. It's just like you would like hold like a trinket or whatever when you're sending like things, things that are good luck and tokens and favors and such. Like yes.
I mumble bullshit into my glass when you make the comment about the god of luck watching over her. I'm like, fuck that shit.
Yeah. We are so far afield of where these discussions need to come from.
Yeah, but
I am not hiring you as the chosen one of Abadar. I'm hiring you as the Count of Swan.
Sure, but
if you wish to have fun, perhaps it can wait until after business. This certainly is a place for entertainment and pleasure.
I'm just trying to get a better idea and understanding of the company I would be throwing my lot with. You see, I've been, you're not the first brevish contract I've had to entertain.
I'm probably the best paying one, however.
Indeed you are. And money is always useful.
I nod completely. Like, yep, that's absolutely true. Yes.
That's not all he's good for. He's the best bit by far.
I do.
I say that to her straight.
And what she says straight up to your face is
straight faced.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
What I like, Count Swan, what I like most about you is that you're direct and you're willing to get what you want.
I like to. First off, Basin, out of character. What's up, buddy? He is direct. He's super direct. Oh, really? I'm seeing some no head shakes.
No, absolutely. Mason is snickering because we just had a discussion about you being too direct. So it's like, yep, this is true.
I believe I may have misjudged you on first glance as a noble fop with more money than sense. It's clearly not the case.
Some would disagree with you. However, I do find a sense of ruthless purpose to be very good at directing the course of one's life. And I sense a kindred spirit of such in you.
Aye. Everything I've made, I've built with my own hands.
I look to her sword. I look at her sword like, no way. Just like, nope.
Oh,
you dirty liar.
Yeah.
Might I inquire very quickly here? My learned companion never actually gave me an answer. Is perhaps your sword magical in some way?
She nods. She's like, this old thing?
I lean in towards Mason. I'm like, write this down. I want a sword like that. I don't see you writing it down.
I lean back at you when you say that. It's like, don't worry, I wanted to.
You want don't want that particular sword. I mean, obviously.
What do you mean? Seize the day, man.
We're not going to. We're literally sitting here at a table with her, Mason. If you covet that sword, I'm literally going to cut your head off. Literally. Sorcerers don't come back from that. Usually.
Just be.
Look at the hilt, man. Look at the hilt. I literally can't hold a sword like that properly. It's not sized for my hand.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Write down that I want a magic sword to go with the magic crown that you promised me. Lady Iravetti, I apologize. My companion is drunk.
I look to Lady Iravetti like, that's not how it happened.
He's saying, look, in my teenage year, or she says, like, when I was a young girl, right? But she says in a very coy way. I was an adventurer, is what she says, right? The ideal. She's romanticizing it, obviously, when she's saying it. It was pretty shitty, right? It's like, I was the ideal tomb robber, if you would.
I mean, I gesture to the fourth wall, which is theoretically an adventurous tavern.
Yeah, and she said, this was the first of the fruits of my labor.
Impressive.
And has guided me. I don't think she says it has guided me. She just says that I've yet to find another beautiful treasure as that. However, it's okay because I have another purpose now.
Well, to business then.
To business.
Yeah, he's direct. Yeah, he's a bit full of himself. Sometimes a fob with more money than sense. He's also the best bid you got for a good deal. He can offer you more money than most. He has a safer backline, and he has the most competent general. You and your troops will not want for much.
And as you can see, I even suffer allowing good help, which often comes at the price of impertinence. What modern idealism? Completely dry delivery.
So she says, I must admit we were not in the business of looking for offers. However, with money like yours, it was warranting consideration. I'm glad that I followed through with it.
Well, let's talk specifics.
Yes.
Numbers. I would like a year's contract at least, and the specific thing that I require is military troops to help expand, colonize an area, and possibly engage in some skirmishing. Privately, perhaps at another time when you're more prepared for it, I would love to discuss, as I said, the manufacture, sale, and training of firearms for my own personal troops.
She nods.
I would like my troops to be the most enlightened and effective in the world.
Yeah. She smirks and says, so if you're off to set off to colonize the green belt, then
it would seem
you'll find no better help than ourselves.
Indeed.
I'm perhaps one of the most, she says, myself more than any other knows what's waiting there for you.
And we could use a bit of that adventuring know-how.
She shakes her head and says, it's not the adventuring know-how. It's the bitch that runs this place. The bitch I intend to kill.
Fantastic. It seems that we have great need of you. I don't know anything about bitches in the forest. He said that's completely
yeah, but
seriously.
Sulius probably should... You might have a flashback of the very first or second episode.
Yeah, the lost episode.
Yeah,
lost episode,
the lost episode, and you hear that voice comes back again, being like, I am, my eyes in the, are the canopy, and yeah.
I very much intend to mostly cleanse the forest of its dark magical properties.
She says, mostly. That will all be gone.
Well, I believe my general here has some inclination to study certain less dark, more light properties.
I would not have the nuances of the place be judged by those who cannot see.
All right, well, that sounded sufficiently magical.
Yeah.
As this is starting to wrap up, Aurelius will stand, and he takes. He had a staff that you haven't probably. You and Swan probably have noticed it, Mason, but it's a newer addition to it. He carries it with him everywhere, and as he stands, he kind of knocks the staff on the ground, and he says, "Blessed is innovation. So too blessed is cultivation. Twice blessed are they when they can be used together. We shall put this great innovation in your firearms to use in cleansing the green belt of what haunts it."
Cleansing is a fantastic word. Really, we could just chop down a whole bunch of stuff and then plant new stuff. Gonna need a lot of lumber. Yes, we're not doing the whole thing, Mason.
And then I will look around and I will say, shall we pray to seal this endeavor?
Oh, that's a tough one. Swan would like to pray, but he doesn't want to offend. Oh, nope. Swan immediately agrees because Swan doesn't know that Mason's all like, I hate the gods.
No, Mason absolutely joins in immediately.
Oh, okay.
I don't hate the gods unequivocally. And after all, I've lived with them all my life.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I just bless the endeavor. I think I'm trying to decide if there's a faith roll here, but I don't think there really is.
No, I don't think so, because I don't think there's any kind of leading up test for this, because I think everything's just kind of fictionally fallen into place.
Cool. Right. And so I think it's just something about cultivating new lands and bless this business endeavor, that kind of thing.
Bless this mess.
So, Lady Iravetti, I would like at least a year's contract with the chance to re-up at the end. How many troops might you bring, and what particular fundage are you looking for their upkeep?
She's like 500 riflemen is what all you need.
How many?
500. They're the finest trained troops.
So they're like dragoon musket men.
Mm-hmm.
We had the pleasure of witnessing one such weapon being fired once at the academy. 500 should be enough to break the spirit of most armies.
And she says, and gods.
I smile at her crookedly when she say that. I turn my head from Sulius like, no, you can't see this, baby. And then I'm like...
Yeah. You can tell that she's really, like, she's angry with whatever that thing is. You know, that the whatever magic is in these woods, she is angry with it. And she is willing to do whatever.
Sweet.
I pick up on that.
You are. I'm telegraphing that to you right now. If you wanted to make some kind of like roll to establish anything like that, but like you can see that this she feels this is more mutually beneficial for her, and that you can help provide funding for her own private war against this thing too, in a way as much as helping you. Right?
I want to make a personal connection here. Like, this isn't just me hiring her mercenary company. This is me. Like, we have the same goal. Like dark magic, weird shit. We need to just burn it all down to the ground and set it on fire.
Exactly. So like when you like all that, like we're kindred spirits. Like you're kind of like a like you never really fit in, like, you know, or in a way like you're like building up and fighting the status quo is really what I meant to say. She sees that in you and sees that as well in her, and there's a sort of authenticity to that is makes this favorable to her, and I don't think there's necessarily a role to make this contract work other than just like a standard
resources role.
Yeah.
What's the obstacle I'm looking at?
I think it's probably 6.
Need help?
I mean, if you want to help, you can.
I don't need the test, so it's your call.
Yeah.
I will accept your help, certainly.
If you ask for it, you shall have it.
Yeah. So I'll tell you then, since if you're both helping, I want to tell you then what I've rigged is, since most of the mercenary companies have asked for about 6 resources, above the table, there's like netting that will lower a treasure chest after I hit a floorboard with my foot. You both know this is going to happen.
And balloons descend from the ceiling.
But know what she needs more than the resources roll?
What does she?
She wants she wants an ironclad promise that when push comes to shove, when we are fighting this dark magic, she can be the one who kills the god.
All right, I feel like when she asks that of Swan, I have to chip in.
Yeah, so it's like I think I mean, so I'm not exactly sure how this comes up in conversation, but this is the thing that's most important to her. So I think maybe this resource test, what fails is perhaps that she will be a little overzealous about making, like, I don't know, there could be problems, complications down the road with how she won't really take any kind of survivors with magic of types from these woods. She, you know, like I could imagine there's complications down the road because of this role, because of that, right? So that's I think that's on the table. It's just trying to what I'm trying to get to.
Mason, I think you're about to jump in here.
Yeah. It's when she, like, whatever leads up to that point being made in conversation, right? That she wants that promise. Mason cuts in with, "I will be leading the military efforts down to the south. I will also be leading any and all decisions on the subject of magic."
And she says,
"You don't ask that promise of Swan, for he cannot deliver it."
Yeah. What about beyond the south?
"When you travel with us, I am the first and last authority on all things magic."
I'm looking at Mason like we're gonna have a conversation about this later.
Well, okay. When she says beyond the south, she was not she's insinuating something, not just like the lands beyond the south, is when she says
I
that
mean,
to
I
you,
got that.
Mason. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I'm telling her this, right? Like, I'm imparting to her, not that I'm trying to start a pissing contest. I'm being very clear. This is something that is important to me for reasons that are not yours to know yet, but we have just met. So just know he cannot make that promise, for I will start shit. That is what I'm saying.
Then what she needs to know from you then is that if you're on board with killing this god.
I would know more about it. I would know more about it before I commit to pulling out its heart. But if and when I should do so, I see no reason I wouldn't let you hold the sword that does.
Yeah.
I think Swan's definitely going to step in there and be like, Mason, our contract specifically was about not having your magic and sorcery being a part of this.
Exactly.
Then I find it curious that you somehow have placed yourself at the head of my anti-magical war effort.
You have no anti-magical war effort.
It would seem if I hire Lady Iravetti that I indeed do.
I would urge you to reconsider.
Lady Iravetti, I will make you the promise that when the time comes to swing the sword against whatever this horrifying monster is that plagues what will soon be my lands, that you will be the one with the hand on the hilt, and that my efforts will be behind you on this.
Yeah, good.
I look at her with like a gravitas that say, don't you dare forget what I just said. Like, I heard what he said, but don't you dare forget what I said.
Now, what about my I'd be remiss if I don't mention my own city.
I assume you have some sort of viceroy.
Sure.
Perhaps
I don't ask for. Now, I'm not going to be as silly to ask for vassalage or anything like that. I would be comfortable having the option of a mutual defense treaty.
Certainly, such a discussion can wait until the country is in fact in existence.
Precisely.
But I
know it's like she's just saying like this is where I see things going. Helping you, like this is the next step, and she wants to make sure that Pitax could be okay with that. I could see your country. I could see your place serving as a buffer between Brevoy and myself.
A healthy influx of firearms would certainly serve the new country very well, of which the name that I shall not say right now.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Under Ronald's leadership, peace and
Swansylvania?
Probably.
Is it Swansylvania?
Swansylvania, no.
Okay.
All right, that looks green.
That's green. Money.
Nice.
I'll
well done.
Deal.
It. What?
Just 1D.
1D.
All right, that's fine.
Cool. Okay.
So the chest descends from the ceiling as planned perfectly with that flare. Like I hit the floorboard and it's like da 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 da. And inside are all the bearer bonds and such required to hire a mercenary company that I have all planned out and ready to go.
Cool.
Eric,
please excuse my dramatic side.
Yeah. What's up?
As the thing draws to a close, I want to. So she offered me to have a conversation. Like we should talk about her sword, and yes, I want to know I want to know what she has to say about it. I want to use whatever happens after this as an opportunity to try to recruit her for my little endeavor. She seems predisposed to wanting to screw whatever would mess with us.
Sure. So what are you trying to get out exactly?
I want her to be like, I want to recruit her for my little for my group of people I would have defy fate with me.
Okay.
So how wants them to join Suicide Squad?
Yeah. You want to join your anti-fate society?
Yeah, she sounded like she was inclined to do that, so I'm gonna drive that home.
Yeah, she would definitely be willing to talk to you more about that stuff, and you get to hear her own personal story, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe this is later in the evening. It's just the same night, the paperwork signed or whatever, and then I think she will tell you the story, right? And then this will lead into the break. right?
Sure.
So
How did you come by such a blade?
Yeah. And we see like the wavy thing to the past, right? We see a much younger her. And we see like a group of like 4 or 5 adventurers going through a tomb. It's a cyclopean, once again, massive ruin. And she's narrating this over this sort of like exploration, right? Saying that our group had me and my companions caught wind of a new site that only shows up every so often, right? I believe it was like every 15 years it shows up, and we only had less than 24 hours for the site before it would go away again. A land known for riches and unmatched wealth. Well, rather than there being treasure and gold, there was but one item in this safe house. No guards. A sword.
I
know.
Was she accompanied by an elf?
Yes, yeah. I was gonna, yeah, right. Well, after picking up the sword, and she says this in a very euphemistic way that I'll let you, if you needed to like read between the lines, say that well, getting out was not nearly as easy as getting in. I was the only one who was able to make it out with the sword.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Me too. It's okay. I've made my peace, is what she says, hand touching the hilt of the sword. I think before we go to break, you see actually like in the wavy past thing, you see that they ended up fighting each other, and she was the last one standing with the sword.
Yeah, I caught that.
As she's like cleaning off the sword and like putting it in her scabbard as she walks away before like the magical portal rip like turns off, and that's where we go to break.
Nice.
So she's not to be trifled with. All right, so we'll see you guys in 5 minutes. See you on the other side.